Today I'm sharing with you 7 anger management tips for parents who do not want to lose their temper. Hello, my name is Marcela Collier. I'm a parenting coach in High Impact Club, owner of High Impact Club Parenting Education online platform. Welcome to my channel. In this channel, we talk about gentle parenting, parenting with understanding, and if those topics call your attention, I encourage you to subscribe to my channel. Number 1, let's normalize anger. Because you feel angry with your child, that doesn't mean that you're a bad parent. Anger is a normal, appropriate human emotion that we all have. It comes and goes, right? So being angry is not abnormal, and it is not an indication that you are doing bad as a parent. It's just an emotion as any other emotion. The same way that we gentle parents normalize our children's anger, we should normalize our anger as well. It's okay to feel angry. So knowing that, I want you to take these tips as anger management tools and not as something that is going to put more pressure on you to get rid of anger, because anger, how I said, is a normal emotion. Tip number 1, and it is to be aware of your triggers. Most of the time, it is not about what our children did, but about the perception that we have about the thing that our children did. And many times that perception comes from unhealed stuff that we have, or things that we are working in ourselves that we don't even know we have there, but it just comes up in motherhood. For example, in my case, I thought I was a very functional adult until I had children. They reflected back to me all my unresolved childhood trauma through their behaviors. Their behaviors makes us realize on all the things that we need to heal. So working on your triggers, meaning working on anger management tips and understanding your triggers. And for that, that's part of your healing process. I'm not a therapist, I'm a parenting coach, but I can tell you from my own experience. And when I learned to remember that what's happening right now is not about what's happening right now, but about how I felt in the past, maybe growing up when I was yelled at and now my kid is yelling at me, how is reflecting back to what I lived as a kid for a lot of my triggers. Some other times that my triggers could be as simple as I'm hungry and I'm triggered right when I'm hungry. Many other times it is unresolved trauma. Matter of fact, if you want to learn more about my healing journey, I've been in this journey for a long time with help as well. I encourage you to listen to the Cycle Breaker podcast, which is my podcast. It launched last weekend, and in that podcast, I'm with Rachel Rogers. She is another parenting coach. And episode 1, we shared our healing journey to heal our inner child and how that helped us improve our relationship with our kids. This is a private podcast for the members of our Cycle Breaker VIP community. If you want to join, it's very simple. I'm going to leave a link in the description. It is just $1.99 a week, and then you get the private podcast, access to our private community. You get access to free parenting material to help you in this journey, in your gentle parenting journey. And besides that, you get priority access to sales and new releases. Number 2, apply the 5-second rule. So what is my 5-second rule? I assess the situation. When things happen, when the behavior happens, is it safe? Even though it might not be appropriate, if it is safe, I wait 5 seconds before responding. During those 5 seconds, I take a deep breath or I do something that helps me regulate before responding. If it is not safe, if your child is about to touch something unsafe, you have to react right away. But if it is back talk or yelling or something that you know the safety is not compromised, I encourage you to delay your responses 5 seconds, and that will help you respond and not react. Number 3, lowering your expectations. A lot of our triggers come from having higher expectations from our children than what they really can give us, especially the older ones, because we have that false expectation that they've been on this earth 9-10 years, then they know better. And the reality is that their brain is still developing. And even if you already had that conversation with them multiple times, knowing better and knowing how to do better are two different things. Or review your own behavior. How many things you know better, but you still don't do better? For example, in my case, is my night hygiene. I know that I shouldn't be on my phone right before going to sleep, but I still do it, and that messes up my sleep, and I still do it. I know better, but I don't do better. Sometimes that happens. So to not place higher expectations on our children than the ones that we have for our own selves. Number 4, to do frequent mood check. MOOD, mood. Why? I teach about this in the Parenting with Understanding program, which is my signature course. What happens when you don't check in with yourself regularly? You start to tense up, you start to get stressed, and when you realize you're already very stressed out and overwhelmed. I do it throughout the day. I was during the weekend, a few weekends ago with my friend Rachel Rogers. She saw me taking a few deep breaths, and then I remember her asking me, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "Yes, I'm completely fine. I'm just regulating myself to keep myself a little calm. I have ADHD, and I have to access frequent coping to not get too impulsive." What can help you check back with yourself, right? Maybe it's to take a deep breath. Check the area of the body that tenses up first. For some people, it's the jaw. Loosen your jaw. Maybe some people, when they start getting tense, their shoulders go up. Bring your shoulders down. Relax those areas of your body that are getting tense throughout the day, and you don't even realize until you are mindful of it. Number 5, think of a safe word. I call it safe word, and repeat it back to yourself when you feel that you're getting there, that you're getting upset. So some people say, "I choose love." Some other people say, "Behavior is communication." That's mine. When I'm like, "Oh, this is making me a little angry, this is driving me nuts," I'm like, "Behavior is communication. Behavior is communication." Another one that people say is like, "My child is not giving me a hard time, he's having a hard time." Another one that you could have is, "They don't know better. They don't know better. They don't know better." So drop in the comments, what could be that safe word that you can tell yourself from now on? Number 6, reflect. So remember, anger is a normal emotion, and sometimes even knowing all those tips, you might still yell, right? Reflect back and say, okay, what led up to that? Knowing what led up to that, what can I do in the future so that's not a roadblock for me? That will help a lot. Number 7, find accountability. If possible. Not all of us have a support system like that. For example, your spouse. If your spouse is on board, you could come up with an agreement that in the house we are going to work on not yelling at each other for the next 2 weeks, and you could make it as a family goal. Include the kids, include the spouse, include the mother-in-law. This is a team task, and we're going to keep each other accountable. Create a little body cue. It keeps your family accountable. Now, what about if you feel alone doing gentle parenting? I know that teaming up and keeping each other accountable, that sounds really fantastic, but not all of us have that support system, even if we're married. Many of my followers on TikTok, by the way, if you don't follow me there, I encourage you to follow me there, say, "Yeah, I'm married, but my spouse is unsupportive. They don't believe in respectful parenting, so I'm alone." So if that's you, I created a video to help you. It is this one right here. I encourage you to go there. And again, download the Cycle Breaker podcast by joining the Cycle Breaker community. It's in the link below. Remember, it only takes understanding to break your cycle. I'll see you next time.